Okay, yesterday we discussed about jQuery UI components. Have you tried other components? Anyone? No? Other jQuery UI components? Anyone? Right? So I showed you two components, date picker and accordion. Similarly, other components you can try. So after understanding that, we started one more concept, ajax, how ajax options work. Now the first important question here is, what is difference between fetch and ajax ajax methods? What is difference between fetch and ajax? Because both can access data and handle data. So fetch, in JavaScript you used fetch for interacting with API. It also uses ajax call. Fetch also uses ajax call. So and ajax also uses ajax call. So what is difference is, actually first thing you should know is fetch is a window method. Fetch is window method. Fetch is a window method. Fetch is window method. So fetch you can simply say it, right? It reads data in binary format. It reads the data in binary format. Then what we have to do is, you have to convert data into JSON. You have to convert data into JSON. For that we used a JSON method. If you remembered, response.json. After that we used data. First, in fetch method, what you done is, you accessed the data and it returned in a binary form. Then you are converting the data into JSON. And it is only for get, not for post. So not for post. So not for, you can say, other actions. Other actions means like post, like put, like delete. Such actions you cannot manage by using fetch method. That means it is only fetching the data. That means only get request, but it cannot handle others. So post, put, delete, such actions cannot work. So these are the problems with fetch method. Actually, these are the issues with fetch method. Then what is advantage is jQuery ajax methods. jQuery ajax methods. jQuery ajax methods. Advantage is, jQuery ajax methods are imported and used from jQuery library. And what is advantage is, they return data directly in JSON format. So JSON format, return data directly in JSON format. So no need to converting the data into JSON format. They return data directly in JSON format. So you can directly use the data, whatever data is returned. And another important is this ajax methods advantage is it can handle various requests, various actions like get, post, put, delete, all such actions we can manage. It can handle various actions like get, post, put, delete like actions it can do. And very important is, so it provides error object that can easily track the error in page, that can easily track the error in request error in request. This is advantage. That is the advantage of ajax methods provided by jQuery. But jQuery ajax methods also have problem. They also have problem. That is the reason. So in advanced technologies, people don't prefer this jQuery. They use alternative techniques for handling it. They don't prefer this. That means here another question is, what are the issues with jQuery ajax? What are the issues with jQuery ajax methods? So jQuery ajax methods are good when compared to the fetch method, but jQuery ajax methods also have some issues. So the major issue with the jQuery ajax method is first issue is coarse. So coarse already we know the meaning, na? Cross origin resource sharing. Cross origin resource sharing. Cross origin resource sharing. So the problem with is coarse. That means jQuery ajax cannot handle coarse issues. That means explicitly means here before explicitly jQuery ajax request can be blocked by browser. So explicitly you have to enable and configure for coarse. Coarse is cross origin resource sharing. This is one default problem with this. So coarse issues will be there and it cannot handle internally. So you have to explicitly handle coarse issues. That is one problem with jQuery ajax method. And another important is here, ajax is asynchronous, but it needs external async techniques to handle various interactions. Ajax is asynchronous, but it needs external asynchronous techniques to handle other interactions. Ajax is asynchronous only in fetching and posting, not in all situations. That means ajax is asynchronous already, but it is only in fetching and posting the data. To handle various other interactions through ajax, we have to explicitly externally write ajax methods, asynchronous methods. These are the points which are not satisfied for developers at high level. That is the reason in latest technologies, what we do is, so now the question here is, so what is solution? What is solution is nothing but you can try third party. You can try third party. So Ajax methods, Ajax libraries. You can try third party Ajax libraries. Third party Ajax libraries, like you have a library which is used in many technologies. We have like HTTP client. HTTP client. It is used by HTTP client with RxJS. It is actually used by technologies like Angular. You can use the third parties like Axios. So it is used by technologies like React. You can use like what WG fetch. It is provided by what WG group. What WG group are the people who are providing official community of HTML. These people are the people who build HTML. HTML is built and maintained by what WG. And these people have some Ajax methods provided. You can try them. So many third parties are there. That is the reason in advanced technologies, jQuery Ajax is not satisfied. That means many times, so you should know that in real world projects, so if they are using Angular, React, they don't prefer using jQuery Ajax anymore. So jQuery Ajax have a lot of issues. And these third parties can handle them. That is the reason you can download, install, and use those third parties according to the technologies you are working with. So that is the reason in Angular, React like technologies, you will not find people using fetch or people using jQuery Ajax. They have their own, and they can use more third parties to, because jQuery Ajax also have so many issues. In real time, we have to face them. For example, I will show you the issues explicitly how to handle. See, for example, I need to fetch the data and use the data coming from API. I will do one thing here. See, let's add a new file, some shopping.html. Let's write a logic here. So doc type HTML head title Ajax, and just I will put a script source is // node modules jQuery dist jQuery.js, and in the body section I'm just creating an unordered list. Okay, and here I will just write a simple jQuery function, and we will fetch the data. I am just using $.ajax, and ajax we will make, so ajax options. First one is method is get. Currently we can test only get method. Later, once we start server side technology, we will see get, post, put, other methods how to handle. Here method get, and here we have URL we have to get from http://fake store api.com/products. Now what is the problem in fetch is the data that comes is in a binary form. That is the reason what we have to do in the next concept. That means then we have to convert the data into JSON, convert the data into JSON. But now we don't need to do that. Then uses a callback function. This callback function can directly get the data, whatever data is there, it can directly get the data. And the data is by default in JSON format. That means now this is an array of products. If it is directly in JSON format, just temporarily, I will put here, see, let's access that dollar dot each data and a callback function with a key and value. And here we are designing a list item, and in this list item we will put value dot title. Every product have a title, and append to, it should append to unordered list. That's the basic logic I written. Now you can see this data. So we are fetching the data and displaying here. That data is working fine. We are accessing the data and displaying the data. But observe carefully. Suppose here I will open the same page on some other browser. I'm accessing same on another browser. And here on this browser, I will disable this. Here you see when we disable this, actually this is Mosef. Yeah. This is called cross origin actually. This is cross origin. You see, I have a plugin called course changer. Course changer. This course changer, by using this plugin, I can turn on and off the data coming from other sources. I need such plugins externally to use to fetch the data from an API and present. That's very important. If I don't use, the people who built the API in the background, they have to write course settings. If they don't write the course settings, then that page will be blocked. For example, this is working fine here. This is working fine, but observe here. Suppose I am using an image have a source. This image source, I will get it from, you remembered we have api.nasa.gov. From NASA APIs, I will go to that API, some API, and you see here some rover photos. And here I will copy the photo URL. Image SRC is there. I will copy that image source and paste that image source here. Our intention is to display that image. Width is 200 and height also 200. Now that is the image source here. Image source. You see that image is coming. That means we are accessing the image and displaying. If you remembered, I told you one attribute. I hope you remembered that. What is it? Cross origin. Cross origin, we keep that as anonymous. Anonymous is the cross origin. Now you see it's not working. I explicitly added it to show you the problem what you will face if the people who built API are not addressing course. They are not addressing course. See, go to the inspect. In the inspect, you can go to the console. In the console, you will find that error. Error is nothing but, you can see the error. They say that, so access to that image being blocked by course policy. That means I showed this manually adding. Later, when you learn server-side technology, you will see how to write it manually, how we can write manually. Just I showed you to understand the process here. Now, people who built API, they addressed this course and given to us. If they haven't done it, then our browsers will block. And our ajax method is not capable of accessing the data. It will show this error. It will show the error called cross origin error. Cross origin error will come when the people who built the API haven't explicitly defined course settings. If they that you will learn in the next level when you write server side code, you will understand that how to write the course settings. Majority people who built API, they will write. If not written, our ajax will fail. If they haven't written, then ajax will fail. That means what ajax will do is, this ajax method is not capable of accessing the data and presenting. It will show course issue. That I will show you when we create our own API, because in our own API, we can enable course, we can disable course, then you will see the difference happening. These are the APIs built by some other people, and ajax method cannot handle the course settings if it is not defined in the backend. That's the reason majority of developers are not satisfied with this. Majority of the developers want the course settings to be internally handled, not explicitly handled. That means we can't depend on server side people to handle the course. So client side itself, it should handle. That's the reason we don't use this regularly in advanced technologies. We will use these third parties. What is the advantage of these third parties is, the advantage of third parties is, so they can handle course implicitly. They can handle course implicitly. Second option is, they are asynchronous. Async. They are async. That means they are asynchronous in handling all type of interactions. You don't need any explicit asynchronous techniques to use. So that is another advantage of these. They are asynchronous. They handle the course implicitly. These are the major things. That is the reason in real world scenarios, we better prefer using these in advance. So that means you can also use fetch in React. You can also use fetch in Angular, Vue like technologies, but we don't prefer. We can also use jQuery methods. In React, we can use jQuery. In Angular, we can use jQuery, but not preferred. We better use the third parties which are provided by them. They are having more better performance when compared to jQuery Ajax. That means before you know jQuery, fetch. Once you know jQuery, you will use jQuery. But once you know advanced technologies, you will not use any jQuery Ajax. So depends on how you configure and define. Now here the concept is, this Ajax contains, see, Ajax have two important methods. So syntax I will give here, how Ajax methods are defined. We can use $.ajax, and here we have to define Ajax options. After that, we need then, this is success function. So, and we need another, so for failure function. So the function what we have to define. There are so many shorthand techniques. Shorthand techniques means directly you can use ajax.get method. Directly you can use, and you can define the URL, and you can use then the success method, and you can use then the failure methods like that. There are so many ways of configuring and defining. Now, one more important advantage of ajax is actually ajax provides, ajax in jQuery provides so life cycle methods which can track the status of ajax request at every phase, which can track the status of ajax request at every phase. Ajax in jQuery provides lifecycle methods which can track the status of ajax request at every phase and can tell you what problem occurred. Let's see the simple basic methods, how they are handled and configured. So, for example, see now, when we are configuring this ajax, we are writing the method for fetching the data and handling. Actually, ajax have status. See, our jQuery is currently using ajax. Ajax have a life cycle. In that life cycle, there can be problem anywhere. That means actually suppose you started some online transaction. You are transferring money to somebody through an online application. 100% all these applications use ajax only for that. Now, there are so many levels for this. First level is you entered amount and click the button. Then first ajax request starts. That means from client side, a request will go to server. If server is not responding to the request, that means in the ajax start itself, there is a problem. Start itself problem is server is not responding. That means server is not on. If server is not on, that means request is not going there. Okay. Second problem is request may go there. After that, server is taking more time. Several technical reasons. Sometimes server is busy. Server is taking more time. That means you may be thinking like, so internet connections speed have problem, but internet connection is good, but server is taking time because of its issues. That means now the problem is not in your request. The problem is in the response of server. After trying some time, because for every process some time is allocated, server may terminate your task in between without completing it because it has taken more time. That again problem. That means your server may have terminated your task without completing. Then it says that operation timed out. Please try later. Sometimes after some time it will take the process. After taking the process, then it has to communicate with some database, and some database server is not responding now. There may be problem anywhere. Then as a developer, it's very important to track the problem correct location where the problem occurred. Is it problem in the request? Is it problem in the response? Is the problem in the server? This we can do by using the lifecycle methods. For that, actually, you have the options like after you have defined these ajax options. When you define these ajax options can use dot. So we have ajax start. We can use ajax start. Remember, this is written for entire the jQuery because that is where the life cycle comes. That means on ajax starts, what should happen? That means if your logic is using ajax, If your application is using ajax, it will track the status. It is a callback function. What this function will do? What this function will do? That means this function will get some message. I will just put in message alert saying that so request for API sent to server. Request for API sent to server. That is on ajax start. Then after that we have ajax complete. Ajax complete. That means ajax complete. That means here a callback function. Remember, there is no order of writing these functions, but there is an order of execution of functions. There is no order of writing the function. You can write any function anywhere, but they will not execute in the order that you written. They execute in the life cycle order. In the life cycle order means first method must be start. After the start, complete. Complete means finished. That means it finished processing. Then I will put an alert saying that so request processed on server. That message I will give. After that we have another option ajax complete, ajax and end, not send. We will use ajax success. Ajax success indicates that your process completed successfully. Request processed on server and success will put an alert saying that data fetched from API successfully. Data fetched from API. After complete, if the process completed successfully, then success method will fire up. If there is a problem, then ajax have an error. Ajax error, we will have a function, and in the function I will put a message alert saying that something went wrong. This message I am giving. Later I will show you now how to track the correct problem also. Exceptions, how do we handle the exception correctly? As of now, I given this, and observe carefully. Here, request sent for API. First stage. Okay. After that, request sent for API. After that, data fetched from API. After that, so request processed on server. After that, the data comes. Everything is fine. That means step by step, every process is happening. Let's do one thing. Suppose we will do one example here. I am not using this fake store API. I am not using this fake store API. I am not using this content. We can do one thing, or let's keep this as it is. We will do one thing here. We will put a separate folder and make it as data folder. In the data folder, we will create a new file called products.json. In that we will create a JSON data, and we will create some JSON. JSON is an array of objects with key and value, name, some TV, like this I defined. Okay. And we have some price and some price. Okay. Similarly, we have another details, some name and some shoe, and some price and some price. These are the details we configured and defined. I am fetching the data. What I will do now, I will do this, fetch the data, get the data and display on button click. I will put a button. So I only one button is there. Under that button, I will create a table. Let's put a line break roughly, table. And here we have T head and TR and TH, and we have name and we have price. And in this we have t body, and we need to display the data. On button click I need to do all this functionality, so I am removing this logic now, and here we are writing ajax. So dollar dot ajax, ajax dot ajax, it will have the method is what? Get. Okay, what is the url is coming from dot dot slash data slash products dot json. Data is coming from a json file. Okay, then just I defined this, and dot, then if it is successful, then the callback function. Here we are defining the data. Whatever data comes, we will perform an iteration. Each data a callback function. We will collect the key and value. And in the value I am defining dollar, and we will create a table row. In that we will create a table cell. In the first cell we will display value dot, so we have name. In the second cell we will display, here we will display value dot, so value dot price, and append to t body, table body. Okay, and this all should happen not directly on button click. So I will write this on button have a click, on button click function. So let's write a function, and on this it will happen. On button click we are handling all the interaction and defining. Now see the logic we are writing like this. All the logic is defined in this way. Now this is the data we are having. Everything configured, yeah, fine. For button I will give the text here. Table have width some 400 and border as 1. For button I will give here as get data. Okay, and everything is ready now, defined like this. Now I will click on get data. When I click on get data, see what happens. First step, request for API sent to server. Okay, second step, data fetched from API. After that, process completed successfully. After that, data comes and display. Let's do one thing now. I will have this name problem. That means there is no file called product.json. File name wrong, API is wrong. Okay, now let's click get data and see. First, request sent to server. Okay, good. Second point, something went wrong. That means it is unable to process. That means the failure will fire up automatically. Because what went wrong? That is not clear now. It says that went wrong. What went wrong? How do I know? Right? File name may be problem. Server may not be responding. Problem can be anywhere. Then we have to correctly tell what is the problem. See, as of now it's done, and you see process on server completed. Because even there is a problem, the process that you given, it is finished, but data is not fetched. Data is not fetched. The process is completed, stop, end. So now what is the problem? I need to know that. Then usually what you can do is, when you are dealing with an error object, this error object will have, see, this error object, usually this error can contain parameters. This error contain parameters. One is event argument. E for event argument. Event argument means event related properties and all you can access. Another one is XHR. So this is XML HTTP request object error. You can give any name because these are formal parameters now. I am giving reasonable name. First parameter is for event, that is used for event arguments, and second parameter is for error. Now see here, what we are doing is we are trying to print that error. Alert XHR error. I want to print that error. That means what's the error here? I want to print that error. See, get data, request to API. Okay, then error is an object. Error object contains lot of details. What are the details present for error object? It contains a detail like error. We have error message. We have an error message. We can define error message. Or if you want to know what this error object contains, you know, right? What we can do, we can put a for var property in XHR error, and we will print them console.log. Console.log, we will print every error available. What are the properties available? Observe carefully now here. Now I will open the console. I will open the console, and in the console, let's now click on data. So there is some problem. You see all these details will come. Error contains so many things. Error contains so many things. Error object contains so many things. And observe carefully, in this error object, we have status code. We have status code and we have status. The status code and the status, these two are very important for developers. These two are very important for developers, status code and status. Status code indicates the number. For every problem on server, there is a number returned actually. These are regularly used status codes. I will show you. Where are they? Yeah, these are regularly used status codes. These are regularly used status codes. Hundreds of status codes will be there. These are regularly used status codes. 100 for continue, 200 for OK, 201 for created, 404 not found, not found. That means these status codes will tell the developers exactly what problem occurred. And as a web developer, it's very important to understand and use these status codes according to situation. This I will tell you about the status codes concept in server-side Node.js. There you will learn how to design server. In Node.js, you will learn how to design a server which can handle request from client and send response. While sending response, it will use these status codes. We will learn about them. Now, the point here is, you see how to get that information. That means the status object, this error object contains lot of details. Out of that, what I am doing is I am using an alert. So error object dot I will give as status text. I will use status text. Status code means it will return only number. Numbers is not easy to understand. So what I will do is here I will put both details. We will do one thing. Here we will put a message. This is nothing but error dot status. Error dot status will return the code. After that, I will return the message error dot status text. I will return that text. Now see what will happen here. When I run this, yeah, I will close this now. I click get data, request API sent. Now, okay, now you see not found. And it says 404. That means that's good. So you can put your own message. But if you know actually how you will put own message first, if I say 404, general people don't understand. So that means you will see several websites, even today, several websites still show this message 404. That's not good. That's not good. How an ordinary user of internet knows 404? 404, but still some websites will show 404. You may ask like why they designed like that. Some rubbish, silly developer has designed that. That means he is not a professional developer. That means I should never see such codes and numbers in a website. That is completely nonsense. You may be thinking like he's an MNC company developer. That means such silly that an MNC developer has developed that in such a way that it is showing errors. That's not good. That's not good. You will find such errors regularly in general websites these days. But you can continue with them, no problem. But at high level, we don't tolerate with this, because you will see such errors in IRCTC website, Book My Show website, or some other movie ticket booking website, because in India it will run. In India, nobody cares, right? In India, nobody cares for that. So it will happen because nobody cares. The developer also don't care, right? So, but when you are developing an application for foreign clients, they won't tolerate that. You can't show these yellow markings. You can't show 404 error status codes. You need to be very clear because they are service oriented. All are service oriented very much overseas. Here also service oriented only, but we don't care. That means the price of a ticket is actually sub 70 rupees. And they will say service charge 30 rupees extra on that. What is that service charge? What is that service charge? Nothing. That is nothing but they are providing facility to you. And if there is an error coming, that is not good facility. You can complain on that. But at India level, we don't complain on all such errors. That is the reason they don't care. Our developers also careless. But this cannot happen in foreign clients. That's the reason we can't show these messages. So then what we have to do as a developer, we have to catch that problem, and according to problem, relevant message should display. That means you see, suppose here, what we can do now, I know the problem. I know the problem, that status code. That means we generally write a switch case for that. Or we will simply put like this. That means if xhr dot error dot status is equal to how much? 404. If status is equal to 404, alert, we will say that. So the file you requested, not found, that message. The file you requested not found. Please try another. So, or we will simply put a message, try another, or contact site admin. Like this, we put message. So that means now the point here is we cannot show such messages directly. You see, now this message will come. The file you requested not found, please try another, or contact site admin. So because client cannot understand your codes, but for developer, we need codes. This is what fetch cannot do. Fetch cannot easily track the problem, so it is very risky. But the ajax methods can easily track the problem, identify the issues, and report the issues. This is very important while doing. And Once the data is correctly defined, that means products.json is correctly there, then those error messages will not come. Request for API, data fetched, and it is displaying the data. The error will come only when the problem is there with the request. This is generally one important thing you need to know how to handle. So what are the lifecycle methods we are having? Lifecycle methods like ajax start, like ajax complete, like ajax success, like ajax error, like this. Now, one more important here is error object. Error object is defined in ajax error that can catch the error and display. It can display status, means it is actually code like 404. Status text like the message, like not found. So syntactically, ajax error will have an event and will have an XHR, XML HTTP request error. And through that error, actually it uses a callback function. In the callback function, it will have these two. And in that, it can handle XHR error dot status. So XHR error dot status text, like that. Example for this is this one. So what I done is create a new folder data, then add a new file products.json. In that this JSON file I will copy roughly, and one more is, so we have to add HTML page. In that, this is the code. How we can fetch the data and display that. That is an example of how to handle it. Means how we manage the request and process the request and handle it. Now, another important option is when you are dealing with ajax methods, when you are working with ajax methods, shorthand techniques are there. Shorthand techniques means, suppose if you are using request to a file, like it is HTML, text file, any content. It's not only that HTML file. Yesterday I showed you HTML. You can read the content from a text file. You can read the content from a JSON file. Any file content you can display. But if you are dealing with specially file that is returning JSON or API which is returning only JSON, then you can better use so ajax so dollar dot get JSON method. Get JSON can be used if you are fetching data from JSON file or API that returns JSON. If it is any another file, then you can go with ajax. If it is specifically JSON, you can directly use JSON. You can directly use JSON. So if you are directly working with JSON, for example, here, see, so I will remove this on button click. On button click, I will remove all this. That is on function. Yeah, fine. Other these ajax status also I will clean up. Okay. Now here we can use directly dollar button and button click. So a callback function. I'm using dollar dot get JSON method, get JSON. And here it is expecting directly URL. So URL, I am just defining the URL. URL is nothing but dot slash data slash products dot JSON. And here you can have a callback function, or this is using the functions, and see the functions it is having. So we have a then function. So then function is nothing but dot then function. That means it will call back. So and on callback, okay, callback, so it can access the data and use it. That means whatever data comes here, it can collect the data and present the data. I'm just console.log, I'm using data. You know, iterations and all you can write there. If data is coming directly from a JSON file, then you can directly use get JSON. But you cannot do this for HTML or text documents or some other. So that means this is used for fetching the data and accessing the data. So in the console, and I click on get data, it get those records and display. Presenting your wish, you have to present. I am not presenting, I am just fetching. So if data is coming from these kind of JSON files, you can use this method. You can simply handle that and configure it. There is another technique. That means this is one option. That means if I have to present this, you know, rest of part is same. So here already I have that. No? I will paste that code. This part I have to handle. I will copy this each and put it there. I will put that each option there. Okay, fine. So that is nothing but accessing the data, fetching it and displaying inside the table. That's what it is doing. So this is, if data is coming directly from JSON, you can try this. That means you can configure this. So here syntactically what it does, so dollar dot get JSON and URL and then and function. This function will collect the data and it can return the data. So there are shorthand techniques. These are shorthand techniques. By using shorthand techniques, we can manage. But this is not suitable for every type of file. It is only for if data is coming in the form of JSON. Not only this, if it is coming from API also JSON form, then you can do that. That means what you can do here, if it is from fake store. So fake HTTP / fake store api.com/products. So in that case, it will be product.title and it will be like, so product.price, like this I defined. And you can see it is going to display those details and access and show them. So if data is coming from JSON format, from JSON file or JSON format, then you can directly use this. Shorthand techniques, so many are there, you can try them depending on your requirement. You can also use the techniques like, so for example, I am using $.ajax. Ajax have a get method. That means we can use directly Ajax, this .ajax. Ajax have a get method, Ajax get method. You can directly define. But this is only for get. Get uses an URL. You can configure the URL and you can use the then function. It uses a callback function, gets the data and return. That is the reason you don't need to worry, because people write in different ways. They use a shorthand technique, they use a lengthy process depending on the situation and requirement. That is actually one more point here is actually when you compare to third party here, where is the note I given for third party? This third party options can handle, another option is they have the ability, they can handle multiple requests. They can handle multiple requests with the single Ajax method. That means we can fetch the data from multiple API URLs and you can handle them. That is the ability of those third parties. So whereas Ajax can handle only one request at a time. But third parties can handle multiple requests with single Ajax method. That is the ability of them. So that is why people go with these third parties. But remember, every third party is not similar. Third parties will change according to the request and all. So these you will see when you are learning some advanced technologies. For example, I told you where to get information about any library. You can go to npmjs.org. This is the official website where you can find libraries. Here you search for the library I told you, Axios. Axios is the library. And you can see it shows that Axios library. And when I go to that Axios library, you see this is the Axios library. You have to install this Axios library and see the advantages of this. That means it can do a lot of things. That means all these are the features. These are all the features. It can make XML HTTP requests from browser, which we are already doing. And it can make requests from Node.js, supports Promise API, request and response, transform request and response data. It can cancel the request, automatic transform JSON. It can support the cross-site scripting attacks. So actually XSRF means cross-site request forgery. So that means it can prevent those forgeries. What is request forgery and all these things in server side, you will learn. No need to discuss them here. But I am not showing you any Axios here. That is for the people who are learning React or Angular like technologies, they have to deal with that. I am just showing you the features, the advantages of them, right? How do we configure and work with them? These are the features how we can manage ajax and handle ajax. And very important here is how we can handle the error objects for ajax. That means tracking the errors, identifying the errors, and returning them. I will upload these error status codes page so that you can get the clarity about what are the errors. But actually, that is only limited, that is regularly used ones. So many errors will be there. Usually, when we develop an application, for every error, which page have to go, that also we can decide. If you remembered we used a server called IIS, INET MGR. This is our web server. And you see on the web server, there is error pages category. When I go to error pages category, it will show various status codes and pages. Actually, these are ready-made pages. What we can do as web developer is when any error occurred, instead of showing message, we can redirect to this page. We can redirect to that page. In that page, the message will be there. Not found, try again later, some message will be there. That means instead of displaying a message, we can redirect. Of course, now also we can do. How to redirect? Already we learned na? How to redirect. Let's keep this logic. If any problem occurred, where is it? This is the code. We are accessing products JSON in the button clicker. I will copy that here. Okay, this is on button click. We are fetching from ajax and defining. Okay, and let's add these also. That means ajax start and all these methods. Now here I will copy this and paste this. These are nothing but error methods. And here, if a problem occurred, then what we do is, so we can just use location.href. That is dynamic navigation. Already I told you, dynamic navigation where not found .html. We design error pages and we configure to that location. That means what happens now? Let's go and design a page here, not found .html. And here we kept a heading. So page not found, or say file not found. So that means here file you requested. So not found. So, and here we'll say it is removed or moved. Please, and here we put here moved, yeah. And we will put a message, some please contact admin. So admin. So, and here I just defined a simple paragraph. Here I defined some HR at a link anchor. href is equal to HR at or admin at some nareshit.in, and so admin at nareshit.in. And I think you know this is what mail to. Now this is the message we configured and we kept in a div, and this div will have a style. So as color red, that's the message I am defining. Now what happens here is when the request is processed here, I click on get data, fetch data, data fetched, it is displaying. If there is a problem in that file, that means Due to some technical reason, this file is moved from here to some other folder. Some JavaScript folder, I am moving that file. The file is moved. It is not present in that location. Now what happens is, if I click on this data, request comes, then processed on server, and it will redirect to this mess. It navigates to that particular page and it will display. This is how generally we do. In general, we don't display the mess because already on server we maintain separate error pages. And what you do is, if you see HDFC, ICICI bank people, what they do is they put their logo there in the error, and for not found they will display some GIF images and icons, and they will say that unable, please try again. If you have seen Amazon, in the Amazon they will show a dog says oops, try later because your internet connection is lost. These are all error pages. Those are all error pages. That means on Amazon they will not display connection lost. Directly plain message they will not display. They will simply put a proper icon saying that this is the problem, please connect to your internet. These are all error pages. We design our own error pages and display them. In that page, you can put a picture or message or anything you can configure there, right? So what Amazon people will do, you know that you have seen regularly when you are not connected to internet, they will not put a plain message. They will put a icon, they put a symbol, they will say try again. So this is what we need to understand, how we can manage errors, how we can handle errors. Nothing special here. I just changed here on error. I am navigating to the location and that navigation can happen. So here a simple example is navigate to error page. Navigate to error page. That's how we navigate to error page. Rest of logic will be same. Only this thing will change. We will define. For every status code, we will keep a separate page. This is the status code for not found. For every status code, we will keep a different message and different page. On that error, automatically it will redirect to that page and display it. So this is basic how we can handle the interactions with the ajax. Now, what you have to try is, now we designed a shopping example. Right? You have to try this shopping example. This one, right? You have to try this shopping example, the same example with ajax. You have to try the same example with ajax. The same example you have to try with ajax. That products list and display here. And here one problem you will face. The problem here, what you will face is when I click on add to cart button, it will not work. In jQuery, this is the key point. Rest of things you can achieve. Only the point is you click on this button. That button, as of now, it is showing because it is JavaScript. But when you design a button dynamically, that button click will not work. A button created dynamically cannot be directly handled in jQuery. So in this entire example, only that problem you will face. What you have to do here, you have to change this entire logic to, instead of fetch, you have to use ajax. You have to use ajax get method and design. This is your task. You have to design all of this. That means with jQuery, you have to do. What is the problem? I will tell you. Let's see the problem that we face here. I will take a simple sample here. Let's add a new file. Yeah. So demo.html already it is there. In jQuery I will add. Okay. Demo.html. And here doc type HTML head title some demo, and let's keep script source. It is node modules jQuery this jQuery JS. Okay. Now here we have the body section, and in the body section, suppose we are designing a div. Just think like it is a card div, and ID is a container. Okay. And here we are creating a script and a dollar function. And in this function, we are configuring. So on load, we have to define some functionality. When it is loaded, I will dynamically create one option here and display. Suppose we have a collection. Suppose I will say products is an array. Array have name, some TV, and some price. Okay, only one or two products are there. Some name and some mobile and some price is there. I need to generate this. I need to generate and display that here. Okay, let's put in dollar dot each, and products. We need to get the callback function, and we need to get the key and value. Okay, and we need to add this into a container dollar. I will design here a div. Okay, let's keep this in this way. I am designing a div and close the div. In this div, I am using the class names because we have to generate a card. I am using card, and here we have like another div. So another div, in this I defined some heading, and in the heading I want to display the title, and I will display value dot name. Okay, and just roughly I will below that put a price here, value dot price. Okay, and below this we need another div where these are all card header, card body, card footer. Suppose we have a button, and this button, so this button is having an ID as add, and here I given as add to cart. This is the challenging for generally jQuery people. That means now you see when I run this, so it should display that page where we went wrong. This should append dot append to whom? Container hash container, that should add to the container, right? Once it is added to the container, now you see these options are there. Now I need to write a event for this button, but that button is dynamically generated. So then how you can access the button? Try. In JavaScript, we can directly access the button using its ID. By ID. In jQuery, it's not possible. That means now here, what we have to do is, suppose, see, I'm writing an option here. Dollar hash, what is it? Add. Add is a button. For that, we need a click. A callback function. I will put an alert saying that add clicked. I want to display that. Now you see here, when I click on that, so add clicked is working. That means we are accessing the ID, and I click here, it's not working. That's not working, but button is same now. It is being repeated. Button is being repeated. So, and it should work for both of them. It is working only for the first one. I haven't created two buttons. I created only one button, and it cannot access like this. It cannot access like this. That means now how do we write event for such buttons? How you can configure the event for that such buttons? That means you need to understand the logic of configuring the events for controls inside the controls. This is what nested controls. This is very big concept. Why? Because in future, what we will do is when we learn server side, I will show you, we will design a table. We will design a table. Actually, we will call this table as grid. In this grid, we will display the details for doing some operations. What operations we want, like view, like edit, like delete, like operations we have to provide. Now, very important, table is an element. In table element, there is a button element. This button element, we have to write an event. In jQuery, you cannot directly write. In JavaScript, you can write, but in jQuery, we cannot write. If any element is dynamic, because generally what happens is for every row, these buttons will repeat. For every row, these buttons will repeat. That means now you have to write the functionality for this. Actually, that I will show you with a proper example. For that, actually, what we have to use, we have to use document. Document have an on method. By using this document on method, we have to write the event. Event is nothing but which event? Which event is click event. For which function we have to define the function, means which control. The control is what? Hash add. Add is referring to a button which is having the ID. And for that, what functionality you want, you need to define a function and configure. That we will create one proper example and we will see how to handle this. That means you cannot directly access any element and write an event for that. So if it is embedded, we have to use this on technique for, there are so many techniques. This is the best. This is the best and easiest method of accessing. But still there are so many points to understand. Suppose I given an alert here. Suppose add clicked like this, I am configuring. That means when user clicks on this add to cart, add clicked, on this add to cart, add clicked, it's working fine. Now working fine. So, but still it is not complete. Why not complete? Because on that add click, we have to tell which item add click. That item information we need to send. So that you try now, because into the function we can send object parameters now. Object related parameters we can send and try. That means now you have to design this logic. I will paste this logic, how to write events for an element inside. I will paste here. Now with this logic and ajax, you have to finish that shopping cart example. Okay, I hope you got this now, how to write event for a button inside. So you have to write document on, what is it? Event name and which function, which element, and the functionality you have to define. So this is only the problem you will face. Rest of everything you have to design. Now you design this shopping cart example. Where is it? In JavaScript, we have a shopping example. This entire example you have to design with jQuery. All the functionality, including this bootstrap functionality, also should come. Right now, you have to replace this with jQuery. That means your code will reduce now. Your code will not be so lengthy as you have seen in JavaScript. So if you can do this, that's good. That's enough. That means now you can handle jQuery at any level. If you can do this, that's enough. Now we will see one more important here is, after understanding the jQuery JavaScript part, now we will see how to use Sass. SAS, we ignored this. We haven't learned. It is related to CSS. I told you that SAS is CSS made easy. But to learn SAS, you need some programming skills. Now already we have programming skills. Now we can easily use SAS. SAS makes CSS more better. Now we will see what is SAS, how the SAS works, right? That we'll see in next session. Tomorrow we will do that. Okay. So try that shopping example complete replacing with jQuery, right? One problem you will face, add to cart. That already I showed you now how to handle that. And if you can do this, then tomorrow we will start working with SAS. What is SAS? How the SAS works? Because if you remembered, entire Bootstrap is designed with SAS. The Bootstrap library they provided to us, that is designed with SAS. We have to learn what is SAS, how it is used for real projects, right? Tomorrow we'll continue.